My name is Jake, welcome to the channel. In today's video, I want to talk about the best part of financial independence. Now this video is going to be a little bit different than I normally make here on my channel. For the next 2 weeks, we're going to be moving back up to Utah. For those of you that are maybe new to the channel, we spend half of the year down here in Austin, Texas, and we spend the other half of the year, more the summer months or so, up in northern Utah where I grew up. So we're going to be traveling and that'll be fun. We're going to be driving up and yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But in today's video, I just want to kind of share with you a few things that have been on my mind, some things that I've really enjoyed about financial independence and what's made this all worth it. If you're maybe new to the channel, back in the earlier part of 2013, I reached what is called barista fire, where I am no longer working my 9-to-5 job, but rather I am living off of my dividend portfolio. I'm using my dividends to pay for my mortgage, pay for my utilities, and I'm also working part-time. And my work is just making corny YouTube videos for all of you and sharing my thoughts and opinions on dividend investing, the FIRE movement. Today's video, I just want to talk a little bit about, what I really enjoy or what are my favorite parts of financial independence. I've been financially independent for the last year and a half, and so I can kind of share or kind of see the differences between what it was like while I was working full-time pursuing FIRE and what it's like now living a different lifestyle. So that's what I'm going to talk about. I don't have anything scripted. I have a few notes here that I wanted to kind of go over, but I just wanted to freestyle a few things and, just kind of share some things with you that are on my mind. I guess the first thing that really comes to mind when I think about the best part of financial independence, and this can be, unique to every single person. Everyone is different. But for me, I'm a pretty big introvert, right? I don't go to bars. I don't go out and party and love to socialize. That was actually my least favorite thing about working was the forced happy hours. I'm glad that I don't have to do that. So I would much prefer to stay home with my family or my tight connections where I have, relationships with people. That's really how I recharge my batteries. And so, but I guess, for me, the best part of financial independence is the freedom to choose what I do with my time. And I didn't really appreciate that, how I spent my time until I actually was able to decide what I did with my time. While I was working, I didn't really have any time off. Between jobs, I was always working for about 10 years in my software sales career, between working in Germany and working here in Austin. The biggest issue that I had, before reaching FIRE was only having like 2 weeks of time off here in America. When I was working in Germany, I had 30 days or 6 weeks off a year. And if you add in public holidays and weekends, you could be out for 2+ months, not in the office. And so the work-life balance in Germany was so much better than it is here in the United States. Thankfully, I worked at some decent companies where I got to take PTO, but here in America, that is such a drawback. I mean, it's so ingrained in our, I want to say, toxic culture that you work. It's just that hustle culture, the whole Gary Vee movement. I don't like that. It is what it is. But yeah, being able to choose when I go on vacation, not having to couple it with a public holiday or around Easter or Memorial Day weekend, right? I can go camping on a Tuesday. I don't have to do it on a day off. And so being able to choose how I spend my time has been really the best part about financial independence. Before when I was working, I'd have to do it around a holiday or I'd have to request PTO, and it'd have to be, because I was in sales, I wasn't really able to go on PTO or vacation the last month of the quarter. And so there was always all these constraints and that was a pain in the butt. And, it was always so awkward having to request PTO from my boss and, the thought of someone else being able to reject that and say that I can't go on a vacation because they have power over what I can do. I absolutely hated that. It's part of working in the system. It is what it is. This really just comes down to having the freedom to choose what I do with my time. And freedom can look differently for each of you watching. For me, it looks a little like this. Yeah, a little wow placement, man. That brings back nostalgia like nothing else for me. I grew up in the mountains, in the Rocky Mountains, and so I used to love going hiking. I still love going hiking. It was just, something that I really, really enjoyed. And it was always kind of my happy place, going up into the mountains, going hiking, the fresh air. And that's just something that I absolutely loved and I still love to this day. And the next thing that I want to talk about is, the best part about financial independence, it really comes down to not rushing. While I was in the grind, I was always going from point A to point B, always rushing from one appointment to the next, no longer having to stress over appointments or having to be somewhere, just for example, in traffic, the road rage that comes with traffic, having to leave every single day at the same time and being stressed, being stuck in traffic. Now, today, I never go during, rush hour. I strategically plan my day where I go when all the old people are out. I go to the store, I go shopping when all the old people go shopping, and I absolutely love it. I couldn't be happier seeing Karen or Sally or Bob or Wilfred at the grocery store and seeing their little smiles. I just absolutely love it. And now, like I said, everybody's going to be in a different situation depending on what phase of life you're in. But I absolutely love going to the store and seeing all the old people, and it makes me smile. Another thing, with rushing, before I used to try to go to the gym early in the morning, and so I'd rush to the gym and try to hurry and get in my workout as fast as I could. And then I, would come home and I'd take like a 30-second shower, and then it was off to the next meeting or off to into traffic to go into the office. Or, in the mornings when my alarm clock would go off, I'd have to immediately get out of bed because I would try to sleep in an extra 5 minutes and cut corners just because, it was always on the go and my time was so limited. Even though probably getting up when your alarm clock first goes off and not snoozing is probably healthier now that I think about it, because when I get out of bed, it's like, okay, I pull up my phone, see, what's going on. And yeah, but it's nice to not have to rush. And so one of the best things about being financially independent is people are not depending on you as much as they maybe were when you were working, right? You had a team or you had a boss or you had a project that you were working on. Not having to rush in every way possible is such a nice thing here in early retirement. The next thing here that I jotted down, this is kind of going to be funny. I mentioned that I'm an introvert. And so it's kind of like, introverts are kind of like vegans. We make sure that that we're an introvert, even though you didn't ask. I saw a post like that. Don't worry. If somebody's an introvert, they'll tell you. You don't have to worry about it. If somebody's a vegan, don't worry. They'll tell you. I'm not vegan, but I thought that was funny. When I saw that, I was like, oh, that definitely applies to me. I definitely tell people I'm an introvert. You know why I tell them is so people don't have expectations of me. I tell people I'm an introvert so you don't expect me to go to parties and socialize with you. And I'm staying at home doing my own thing. So that's why I tell everybody. Anyways, another thing that I really, really enjoy about financial independence is I really enjoy a less crowded world. And I kind of mentioned this earlier with going shopping with all the old people. Going shopping, going grocery shopping. I'm not talking about going handbag shopping. Okay, calm down. I'm talking about going to Costco or going to the store at H-E-B here in Texas and going and buying our groceries. I love doing that at 10 a.m. on a Thursday, right? I love doing that. Not having to go, on a Saturday at 12 o'clock. Like, that's the worst thing, especially here in Austin. Everyone and their dog, quite literally, is out on a Saturday afternoon. And so going shopping or going to the grocery store on a Thursday morning, mwah, a chef's kiss. Beautiful. Love it. Another thing that I really love is, going to the movies on a Tuesday at 11 o'clock in the morning. Hitting that matinee. Not only is it cheaper, but it's less crowded. You don't have people screaming and annoying and loud. So yeah, a less crowded world in early retirement is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I'm definitely enjoying that. And it also comes down to like everything else, right? Like if I want to go on a hike or if I want to go out, in public, how dare the public be there in public? But if I want to go like on a hike on a, Monday morning or a Tuesday morning, it's not going to be nearly as crowded as it would be on a Sunday or a Saturday. And, when we talk about, when I can travel and everything, which ties into the next thing that I want to talk about, is it's a lot cheaper, right? You can go off season. I don't have to go during, Christmas or the New Year or whenever. I can go when I want. And that's a huge advantage, especially if you're on a budget. Being able to pick when you travel is huge. And speaking of travel, this is actually what I'm most excited for here next year. These last couple of years with the pandemic, we didn't really travel. We were working. We didn't really do a lot. We had our son. So traveling was not really that easy. And so I love to travel. It's just always a question of money. But next year, I wanted to share with you kind of a snapshot, and I'll talk more about this in the future. But what I'm most excited about for next year when it comes to being financially independent and what all the benefits that come with that, the number one thing that I'm most excited about is being able to slow travel. Okay. I mentioned before that you got like 2 weeks off in a whole year, right? If you can even take time like that. And so being able to slow travel, what that means is we're going to be traveling over to Europe where my wife is from, where I used to live. And we're going to, instead of flying from Austin or Salt Lake to Germany, we're going to take a cruise from Florida to Barcelona. This is what's called a transatlantic cruise or a repositioning cruise. Cruise liners, they do this, they reposition their cruise. And so over a 2-week cruise, we'll stop in the Azores, we'll stop, I think, in Madeira or something like that, and other islands, and get to enjoy everything that comes with that. And also the stresses of being with a toddler in a little room. But nonetheless, being able to slow travel, instead of having to sit cramped in a little airplane for 12 hours, we're going to sit in a somewhat small room. We got a balcony, so we're looking forward to that, a little bit of a bigger room. But we're able to walk around and, they have a bunch of cool things that you can do on the cruise. And all the food is paid for and all of that. And so we're going to take a 2-week cruise from Florida to Barcelona. And then we're going to spend 3 months in Europe. 3 months, because I used to have a green card in Germany. It expired because I moved back to the U.S. So I can only legally stay for 3 months. I have to, unless I were to move back there, I could reapply for a green card or even get citizenship actually. But what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to go to Barcelona. We're going to rent a car and we're going to go up through Spain, up through France. Can't wait to get my baguette at the bakery. One of my favorite things, going to just a little old bakery, not in Paris. Paris is a nightmare. I never go to Paris. I've been there a few times, never again. I want to go to the outskirts of France and go to the bakeries and drive up. And we're going to go into Germany and we're going to spend in total about 3 months in Europe. And then we haven't decided quite yet if we're going to fly back or take a cruise, a transatlantic cruise back to the United States. That's undecided, but yeah, that's what I'm most excited for. And so in total, we're going to be gone for a little over 3 months, and we get to do it on our terms. We don't have to do it, in a 3-week, a 2 or 3 week span. We can stay in more either not hostels. We can stay in they're called Ferienwohnungen. They're like vacation homes, I guess you could say, kind of like Airbnbs. But because we're going to stay in there for a month, we're able to get them much cheaper than staying 1 or 2 nights or in a hotel. And they're all furnished and we can cook our own food there. And so this idea of slow travel is what I'm most excited about in early retirement, not having to sit in a little city cooped up in traffic going to and from work, but rather we're able to have an entirely different experience. And I'm sure that there's going to be some ups and downs with a toddler. We have a 3-year-old. So that'll be interesting. At that time, he'll be 4, and so we'll see how that goes. This idea of slow travel is what I'm most excited about and what I'm most looking forward to in this next phase or this new phase of life, where we're not cooped up in an office all day and we're being able to choose what we do with our time. And, just as another example, here this week, we're going to be driving up to Utah. We're going to be spending a week driving up and being able to spend our time in Utah and spend our time here in Texas and be flexible with what we do and where we go. It's a really, really cool experience. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. It's, like I said, it's a little bit of a different video. Hopefully it gets you a little bit excited about, to think about what your life may be once you reach financial independence, if you're pursuing that, or if you're already in FIRE or in, living this different lifestyle. So if you're still watching the video, I really appreciate it. I know this is a different video, so thanks for watching.
Please subscribe. Please subscribe.
You know what? I think we're gonna be friends. Can everyone say hi to my friend? That's crazy. I just wanted to say thanks. I'm glad you came along, partner.